with the government intending
that every individual or corporate organization or even a country requires debt to improve standards of living earlier than would be attainable is a fact that cannot be contended, but this can only work if the debts are used correctly. In Kenya, the debt subject has occasionally been perceived as a concern for the elite, despite the fact that the ripple effect of poor debt management is felt by every citizen. Currently, the country's debt stock stands at more than 2 trillion Kenyan shillings, of which more than 1 trillion Kenyan shillings is domestic debt and 940 billion shillings as foreign debt. This speaks to the fact that during every fiscal year, taxpayers have to cough out 32% of the total national budget for servicing our debts.
Now that is quite a huge amount compared to what it would mean if that 32% was going into whether it's developmental, whether it's social infrastructure, whether it was health, education, roads and this kind of thing.
This is why most civil society groups in the economic sector have taken to call for more coherent debt strategy and policy.
If we are going to use debt also as a basis of growth, then we must be able to have a sense of how this debt is coming in, what are the thresholds, what's the utilization plan, and considering that there's a key principle within Chapter 12 of the Constitution which talks about intergenerational relations, so that we do not borrow so much for the present and in debt the future generations. Yes.
Recently, the country has received thumbs up from key global financial and developmental institutions who have rated Kenya's debt as sustainable. However, this rating has not translated to any benefit to the citizenry.
Currently, the debts are considered to be sustainable, but when you look at the debt servicing amounts that is going to different creditors, it's very high compared to the social sectors. So we are very concerned as a civil society organization that should change.
Certainly, the fact that a huge chunk of total national budget goes to the recurrent expenditure is a worrisome issue to the rights group.
So its sustainability caution, therefore, is on the question of how do you use that money. So if we accrue more debt and we are not putting our debt into developmental expenditure and we are just pushing it into recurrent and this kind of thing, then we might have a problem in the going forward in terms of our ability to service.
Recently, the country successfully secured 176 billion shillings after floating a Eurobond. The funds raised from the bond issue are subject to repayment, and this highly depends on how it shall be utilized.
Was it's early in terms of quantum aggregate figures, in terms of saying so much has been sent on XYZ and are we having returns on that? It might also be a good moment to look at the overall policy framework. Is there a policy coherence that is guiding funds allocation and utilization on the basis of the rationale of why we went borrowing the money?
Jojo Kachi, GBS News.